Welcome to the Cruise Retreat Podcast. Hi, I'm Rita Perez, and I'm a travel advisor specializing in, you guessed it, cruise ship retreats. This podcast is for service-based entrepreneurs and corporate decision makers to learn more about staying everyone's favorite company with a cruise ship retreat. Ready to increase your client or employee retention? Listen in on this week's show. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. And as we mentioned a little bit last week in the podcast, it is Hispanic Heritage Month. We have about 3 weeks left of Hispanic Heritage Month. And if you did not know, my Hispanic heritage comes from Puerto Rico. So I was born and raised here in the States in Florida. And my family is originally from the island of Puerto Rico, which is a Commonwealth of the United States. So it has a very interesting history in the sense that it is a country, but it is also part of the United States. So it's not totally a separate country, but it's not totally part of the United States. If you did not know, though, Puerto Rican citizens are considered United States citizens. So they get their own American passport, and they can, and we can also come and go from the island as we please without needing to have that passport and going through customs and all that. So fun fact of the day, if you did not know a little bit about the small island of Puerto Rico in the Caribbean. It actually is probably about a 3 or 4 hour car drive. I know whenever I visit my family in San Juan to see my other part of the family, that's in Maya West. So San Juan is in the northeastern part of the island, and where the other side of my family is about like southwestern part of the island, and that's about a 3 hour drive. So I would say if you're going from one end of the island to the other end of the island completely, that's probably like close to a 3 to 4 hour drive. So small island, but still it does take a while to get to the other side. But we are not talking about Puerto Rico this week. I wanted to, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, I wanted to go over some of the amazing destinations that you can experience, especially on the amazing river cruises that I oh so dearly love. And I know that I have talked a lot about the Rhine River cruise, but the Rhine River cruise does not go into any Hispanic destinations. So the cruise that I would like to feature today is actually the first and only of its kind that will be sailing on the Magdalena River, and that is through the beautiful country of Colombia, which I have yet to visit myself, but I have very close family friends who are from Colombia and have been dying to have me go visit in Colombia with them. However, I've been a little scared. I've been a little nervous, not because of safety-wise. If you have listened on past episodes of the podcast, I get motion sickness pretty bad. And I feel like I get it worse when I'm in like a bus or a car through mountains than I do sailing. And so this is why I'm so excited about this option, amongst other things, is that I'll finally be able to visit Colombia and not have to worry about like driving around in mountains or curves and all that. So I can eliminate at least a little bit of the friction of me being nervous to travel to Colombia, which is solely based on my motion sickness and not based on anything like other safety wise, because the Colombia that many of us may have grown up with, and especially like in the 70s and 80s, 90s, that is not the Colombia that there is now. It is a very beautiful, vibrant, cultured country, and it is a very safe country to go and visit. So I am very happy that AMA Waterways, my preferred river cruise partner, decided to branch out into South America, and that this is going to be the first country that they do branch out in on the Magdalena River. They are actually going to be partnering with a local tour operator called Metropolitan Touring. They're a leading tour operator in South America, and their first cruises on the Magdalena River will be sailing in December of 2023. So we've still got a little over 2 years, which is perfect planning for a river cruise, especially of this size. They are creating a whole new ship called the Magdalena. And it is actually going to be about half the size of the river ships. So normally the European river ships have about 160-ish passengers, give or take, whereas this one is only going to be carrying around 80 passengers. And that is what I'm seeing is very common in a lot of the exotic destinations, that they have smaller ships. So it's a more intimate experience when you sail. And I mean, river cruising in itself is already a pretty intimate experience. So cutting the passenger size by half, I feel, is just going to up the ante even more about being like able to be immersed in this rich culture, which is going to be, and this is one of the things that I really love about AMA Waterways, is that they're really making it a focal point to have the wildlife and the history and the culture of Colombia really be exuding through this whole sailing opportunity. They're going to have 2 itineraries that haven't fully come out yet. We don't know too many details aside like for little tidbits that were spilled this past summer. And hopefully we will actually be knowing more, because these cruises are actually going to start going for sale in October and November of this year. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more once more details come out, or if you would like to go ahead and put a Hispanic heritage group together on the Magdalena River, please reach out to me so that we can work together and I can coordinate all of those complicated logistics for you. And you just have to worry about taking care of your group. So the sailings on the Magdalena River, they are going to go in between Cartagena and Barranquilla. Please forgive me if I didn't say that. So I am American. I'm Puerto Rican American. English is my first language, but I try really hard, even though people tell me that I have an American accent when I speak Spanish. But so going in between, which those are 2 pinnacle cities that are in Colombia. So that is also exciting. I know that where my friends are, or where their family is located, is more in Cartagena. So when it's just it's kind of like they built this cruise for me, but they didn't build this cruise for me. So being able to experience something and hopefully being able to visit with friends over there and no fear of motion sickness, check all the boxes. So like I was saying, the sailings are really going to focus on nature, wildlife, culture, some really fun activities, including kayaking, hiking, biking, and bird watching. So this, I feel, is a bit more of an active cruise compared to some of the river cruising, which river cruises you can make as active or as not active as you want. And I feel like it'll be the same probably in Colombia, but it feels like there's a little bit more activity that you can do just because it is so eco-focused. Like they don't really pinpoint that as one of the features, but that's kind of what I am seeing. Rudy Schreiner had said in the initial press conference, and Rudy Schreiner is one of the co-owners and co-founders of AMA Waterways, that there is just such a fantastic culture in these key cities that they also have fantastic nature that we have to go into. This ship, which is already top of the line in itself, is also going to be developed with a 0 carbon footprint, and it is going to be constructed for that specific regional river, which again is one of the other amazing features of a company such as AMA Waterways, is that they're just so mindful of the things that they do within their company and the footprint that they leave behind in the local cultures that they are going to be sailing through. So on top of getting the beautiful experience of sailing through Colombia, sailing on this Magdalena River, you're still going to have the amazing guest service experience on board with top culinary options, unparalleled service, and exclusive experience that gets straight into the heart of Colombia's soul. So I don't know about you, but clearly you can tell that I am very excited about this very exclusive sailing. Let me know what you think. Is Colombia sailing on the Magdalena River? Is that something that you had ever considered? Because it's surely not something that I had ever considered. Is this something that kind of goes up at the top of your bucket list? I mean, I feel like for me it kind of does, because it's something very unique that not many people have experienced, because it is the first of its kind. And even if you have been to South America, this is going to be a totally new and unique way to experience South America on the rivers. So let me know what you're thinking. You have an amazing week, and I will see you next week. Thank you for joining me on the Cruise Retreat podcast. Please subscribe and leave the show a rating on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to take a look at the show notes for important information and links. See you next week.